This is JR Gaming here, and right now I'm gonna rebuild the Houston Texans. So I trade DJ Reader, Tom Savage, and a 4th round pick for the Jets' 1st round pick this year and next year. So I trade Ryan Griffin for a 4th round pick. So I trade Lamar Miller, Brian Cushing, and a 3rd round pick for Jarvis Landry. So I trade Alfred Blue and Jeff Allen for the Falcons' 1st round pick. So I trade Lamar Houston and Kareem Jackson for Brandon Sheriff. So here's the team heading to next season. Deshaun Watson is a good young QB, and we have 2 good receivers in DeAndre Hopkins and Jarvis Landry. A decent tight end and a O-line that's now improved with Brandon Sheriff as a right tackle. And a pretty decent front 7 with JJ Watt, Clowney, and Merciless. And the secondary could use some help at safety. So at the midseason mark, we are 1-6, and we have some contract to negotiate. So we get DeAndre Hopkins back. And we get Jarvis Landry back. And Jay Prosh. And he'll be back. And I'm not going to re-sign Jonathan Joseph, CJ Fedorowicz. And I'll sign Greg Max. And he accepts. And that's all I'm going to re-sign. So we finished the season at 4-12. Watson threw for 4,000 yards, 33 TDs, and 26 interceptions. Deonta Foreman ran for 740 yards and 3 TDs. Landry and Hopkins both combined for 1,000 yards, Fuller for 900 yards. And we let up a good amount of sacks, just 21. McKinney got 141 tackles. JJ Watt with 108. JJ Watt with 39 tackles for loss and 15 QB sacks. Clowney with 8. Jonathan Joseph with 6 interceptions. And JJ Watt got a blocked kick and a safety. And for awards, Aaron Rodgers wins MVP. And somehow Sean Payton wins Coach of the Year. Deshaun Watson wins Rookie of the Year. And Eddie Vanderdoes somehow wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. Watson's above Blake Bortles and Joe Flacco for Best QB. And JJ Watt wins Best D lineman. And that's all the awards we won. So I traded Braxton Miller, a 4th round pick this year and a 3rd round pick next year, for the 1st overall pick by the Carolina Panthers. So I traded my 1st overall pick and 21st overall pick for the Browns' 2nd and 4th overall pick and their 1st round pick next year. So I traded my 2nd overall pick to get the Dolphins picks. So I'll trade my 4th overall pick to get the Niners' 1st round pick next year and their 2nd round picks this year. With my 6th overall pick, I'll take the safety, Renoy Boye, and he's a 78 overall with quick development. And now with my 7th overall pick, I will take a cornerback, Roderick Herrick, or maybe even Antoine Redmond. So I'm going to take Herrick, and he's a 79 overall. With this 2nd round pick, I'll trade down with the Seahawks to get their first round pick and their fourth round pick this year. With the second round pick, I'm gonna choose this running back, and he's not that good. With my other second round pick, I'm gonna choose this right tackle, and he's a 76 overall. With this fourth round pick, I'm gonna choose this tight end, and he's a 79 with quick development. With the fifth round pick, I'm gonna choose his center, and he has superstar development. So here's our team heading to next season. We have Deshaun Watson at an 84 overall, and Kaepernick backing him up. We have Jamal Charles as our running back, two good receivers, and Will Fuller, a rookie tight end, and a O-line that's better than last year's. Our front seven's pretty much the same. And now we have this cornerback that's pretty good, and a strong safety that's really good. So at the mid-season mark, we are 6-2, a big improvement from last year, and we even beat the Patriots. And now we have to re-sign Jadeveon Clowney, and he's gonna cost a lot, but he re-signs with the team. Brandon Sheriff, and he's back with the team. And we get Bernardrick McKinney, and last but not least, Kevin Johnson. And no one else will get re-signed. So we finish this season at 7-8-1. Deshaun Watson threw for 4,500 yards, 28 TDs, 16 interceptions. Jamal Charles ran for 800 yards, 5 TDs. Landry and Hopkins both had 1,200 yards and over 9 TDs. Will Fuller with 800 yards, rookie tight end with 600. And we gave up 22 sacks. Bernardrick McKinney had 130 tackles, J.J. Watt with 107. J.J. Watt with 28 tackles for loss and 20.5 sacks. Bernardrick McKinney and Adam Jones with 4 interceptions, as well as Kevin Johnson. And Kevin Johnson and Roderick Herrick both had defensive touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers wins MVP. And J.J. Watt wins best defensive lineman. And those are the awards that we won. In free agency, we just get T.J. Yeldon. With my first overall pick, I just traded down with the Ravens. So with the third overall pick, I will choose a left outside linebacker, Martin Rhodes. And he's an 82 overall, but with normal development. So with this 6th round pick, I'm going to trade down with the New Orleans Saints. With the 7th overall pick, I'll choose this cornerback, Corin Gray, and he has quick development. With this 16th overall pick, I'll choose Bryant Brazil, and he has superstar development. With the 31st overall pick, I'm going to choose this center, and he's a 79 overall. And now I'll choose this center, and he's a 76 with superstar development. Now I'm going to choose this left end, and he's a 70 overall. I chose a random left tackle, and he's a 76 overall with quick development. So I'm gonna make a risky pick and choose this undrafted projected right end, and he's a 72 overall. So I traded Carlos Watkins, Whitney Merciless, and a 3rd round pick for Leonard Williams. So I traded TJ Yeldon, Nick Martin, and a 2nd round pick for Bobby Wagner. So I traded Zach Cunningham, a 1st round pick this year and a 3rd round pick next year, for a free safety with superstar development. So here's the team heading to next season. Deshaun Watson is still the QB, and we have a rookie running back with superstar development, good receiving targets, a decent O-line, and our front 7 is very good, and Leonard Williams has 56,000 XP, and our secondary is much improved with younger players. At the midseason mark, we are 3-5, and Bobby Wagner needs a new contract, and he will get a new contract. Will Fuller, I'm not gonna re-sign, and everyone else could go. So at the end of the season, we ended up 7-8-1. Watson threw for 4,700 yards, 34 TD, 16 interceptions. Our rookie running back got 900 yards. Landry got 1,400 yards. Fuller had 900. Hopkins with 1,000. And we only let up 21 sacks. Bobby Wagner with 126 tackles. JJ Watt with 16 tackles for loss. 16 sacks for Watt. 12.5 for Jadeveon Clowney. 12 for Leonard Williams. 4 interceptions for Boye. And Boye also had a touchdown. Phillip Rivers wins MVP. And none of our rookies win anything, as they're both runner-ups. JJ Watt's number 2 for best D lineman. And we don't win any awards. So I'm gonna trade my number 1 overall pick with the Jets to get their 2nd overall pick and a couple of other picks. And now with the 2nd overall pick, I'll choose this cornerback, DeAndre Jackson. And he's an 80 overall with superstar development. So I traded Kevin Johnson and my 2nd round pick for the Cardinals' 1st round pick. And with this pick, I'm gonna choose this receiver, and he has quick development. With this pick, I'm gonna choose this cornerback, and he's a 78 with slow development. And with my 16th overall pick, I'm gonna trade down with the Redskins, and I'm just gonna sim the rest of the draft. So I traded a 1st and a 2nd round pick for Travis Frederick and Zach Martin. So I traded one of my backup free safeties and a 6th round pick for Marcel Darius. So I traded a backup center for Kalichi Osemele. So I traded one of my backup cornerbacks and a 1st round pick for Jordan Howard. And now Deshaun Watson is still starting, but now we have Jordan Howard, good receiving core, even better linemen, a good front 7, and a good secondary. So at the end of the season, we went 14-2. Watson threw for 4,600 yards, 36 TDs, 15 interceptions. Howard ran for 1,300 yards, 16 TDs. Landry and Hopkins both had over 1,100 yards, and Landry had 13 TDs. We only let up 13 sacks. Wagner had 116 tackles. Williams with 12 tackles for loss, and Watt had 17 sacks. Williams with 12. And Trey Roberts with 3 interceptions. And no touchdowns. And for awards, Gruden won Coach of the Year, Rodgers won MVP, JJ Watt won Defensive Player of the Year, Frederick won Best Offensive Lineman, and yeah. So for the divisional round, we're gonna face the 8-8 Browns, and there's no way we could lose. And we beat them. Now the Steelers. And we lost.